guys, it's Phoebe from Phoebe and welcome back to another Doctor Who video. Now I was debating what video to do because I had two video ideas down and then I had a third one last night, so I thought I would do the third idea first and then the second one next week and then, you know, just do it like that. So today's video is the Doctor's catchphrases through the years. Yes, it's slightly different to what I normally do, but I've also got another one planned for, I've got another Doctor Who themed video planned for next week and another one for after that. Eventually I will get round to doing Cybermen through the ages and Sontarans and all that if you guys want that. But yeah, if you've never seen my face on your screens before, please click that big red subscribe button down below and click the notifications bell so you get notifications every single time I upload, because you'll get a 50% chance of actually seeing it. So yeah. So each Doctor has had a catchphrase apart from the 8th, but that's to be expected because there was only a movie then. But yet each Doctor has had some form of catchphrase over the year, and that catchphrase has basically been a reoccurring thing the Doctor would say. Now I also have an article online as well about the catchphrases, so I can read you a little bit of information about each catchphrase. But yeah, so each Doctor has had their own catchphrase they've said, and basically what that means is it's something that they constantly repeat through their reign. So each Doctor has done roughly 3 seasons. Tom Baker did 7 seasons, but you know, that's him. He was the longest ruling Doctor, but he didn't. But David Tennant's the longest Doctor who did 9 Christmas specials. But moving on. So these Doctors are from the classic and modern series. I wanted to not just do the modern Doctor's catchphrases, I wanted to do the classic Doctor's catchphrases as I'm currently watching the classic episodes on BritBox. Also, question, can someone please explain to me, in the classic series of Doctor Who, why the Doctor uses weapons in the classic series and in the modern series he's against using them? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So can you comment down below for me why that is? Because why does the Doctor use weapons in the classic series and in the modern series he's against using weapons? Like, that doesn't make any sense. He doesn't use weapons to kill people, he just uses weapons to unlock doors or something. But can you please explain to me why he does that? Like, why the Doctor uses weapons in the classic series, but in the modern series he's against using weapons of any sort. Like any sort of gun. In the classic series he uses guns and stuff. See, that's something that's always been intriguing to me. Also, can someone else explain to me as well why the Doctor doesn't let his companions drink alcohol or wine or anything like that? Because that's also got me very confused. Because every time I watch the Alignment episode or the Black Orchid, which I've only watched a couple of times, it's not in my top fave. I'll do a video. That'll be a whole separate video. But yeah, so can you please explain to me why the Doctor stops his companions from drinking alcohol, like his kid companions, like Nyssa and Tegan? Because Nyssa and Tegan and Victoria and that were very kid companions, and Adric as well. Could you just tell me why the Doctor doesn't allow his companions to drink alcohol? Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's move on. Let's get into the video. Okay, let's get into the video. Oh, I'm rambling. The first Doctor said, what's that, my boy? A trick often used by wily citizens when they need a second to gather their thoughts, or just to ignore the falling thing someone has just said. The first Doctor never skimped on being fast or rude when he could help it. So possibly he really was a little hard of hearing or slow to work out what to do. Either way, his need to slow a conversation down or obfuse an awkward line of inquiry stood him in a good stead and served to reinforce the misleading idea that he was drooling old Gripper before he delivered a coup de grace. So yeah, the first Doctor, William Hartnell, he was old when he did it, so you know that what's my boy catchphrase is very known to him as his Doctor, because he was old, and the Doctor was old to start with, and he just couldn't work out problems as fast as the other Doctors. So, you know, that catchphrase came in line with him, because that's associated with his Doctor. So yeah. By the way, I looked up all these catchphrases online. I do know them off by heart, but I just wanted to double check that they were the right catchphrases. But yeah, so the first Doctor said, "What's that, my boy?" because it was kind of a way of him trying to reassure his companions, and also he was trying to work out a problem, so he was going to take a little bit longer doing it. The second Doctor said, when I say run, run, run. Never the most confrontational or mackerel of the Doctors, unless faced with interior decor that was not to his liking. The second Doctor had a knack for skipping out of trouble and ensuring his companions were safe as he did so. It's a tragic which all of the Doctors have utilised over the years, but never quite as flamboyantly. Yeah, the second Doctor, whose companions were Polly, Ben, Victoria, Jamie and Zoe. He said that an awful lot, especially in the Tomb of the Cybermen episode when Jamie and the Doctor kind of have the Cybermen come up that was meant to be dead. I don't even know. It was badly damaged, but it wasn't dead. So it was meant to be dead, but it wasn't dead. So to me, I don't know what. But yeah, so the second Doctor did everything he could to protect his companions in every way by saying, when I say run, run, run. So yeah, that's kind of like a flamboyant way of saying it. He also said it very flamboyantly. Moving on. The third Doctor said, reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. This isn't a catchphrase for the third Doctor, but because an inside joke for the show itself. Between the scriptwriters and the audience, iconic. It was the only spoken by the third Doctor twice. Once during his lifetime, and once again during the Five Doctors, when a certain amount of pregnant giggling. However, it also speaks volume about the third Doctor loftiness that he would have sentenced a scientific cycle ready to go just to confuse and impress anyone with an earshot. Yeah, we know we know the third Doctor has only said that phrase twice, but it's a catchphrase that stands out to the third Doctor. So yeah, it's reverse the polarity of the neutron flow is a catchphrase that we know stands out for the third Doctor. Even though he said it twice, it still stands out for him because he's only said it twice, but it's a catchphrase that stands out to him. Does that make sense? The fourth Doctor said, would you care for a jelly baby? You may be able to detect a theme developing now. Each of these catchphrases is used by their respective Doctors to keep people at arm's length, literally in the case of the second Doctor. While they try to figure out what to do next, and there's nothing wrong with confusing people with irrelevant and charm while you work out what's going on, it's the Doctor's primary weapon in the battle against the obvious. And if you remember the fish custard episode, you'll realise it's one he uses all the time. And by the way, when they mean fish custard episode, I'm presuming they're referring to the 11th Doctor and the doppelgangers. So yeah, I presume they're referring to the 11th Doctor and the doppelgangers episode. I believe so. When Matt's doppelganger, when the 11th Doctor's doppelganger kind of does every catchphrase known to man, so trying to get to grips with the regenerations. So yeah, the fifth Doctor didn't really have much of a catchphrase, but this is definitely one of his. He didn't really like catchphrases, but it's on the list anyway. Fifth Doctor said, Braveheart Tegan. Being an altogether more human sort of Time Lord than any of his previous selves, the fifth Doctor is not overly weighed down with moral catchphrases. Bravery ticks, yes. The celery on his lapel, the glasses he doesn't need, the fetch for cricket, but not catchphrases. This, however, is a nice thing he says to Tegan to keep her spirits up because he's a nice man. Well, yeah, that catchphrase didn't come into place until Earthshock, and then it was kind of a constant thing the Doctor used to say, if Tegan was worried. In Earthshock, when Adric dies and stuff, he says Braveheart Tegan twice, once in the first part, and then once again in the last episode, and then it comes again in Enlightenment and Snake Dance. Well, not really Snake Dance, because it's all focused, that one episode I've watched is all focused on Tegan. The Nyssa and the Doctor have got to try and figure out how to destroy the Mara, but it's mostly focused on Tegan. They're mostly, both of them, the Doctor's not concerned about Nyssa right now, he's just concerned on Tegan with the Mara in her mind. So, you know, like the Doctor and Nyssa are both focused on one person in that specific episode. But he does say it to her in enlightenment, enemies of the deep. You know, it does come up very good. It does come up occasionally, and it's quite good because it's kind of like to keep Tegan's spirits up, which I think is a nice thing to do. Like, if she's like having a hard time, I definitely think one of her harder times was definitely being taken over by the Amara. In, what was the episode? Oh god, what was the episode? When they're on Diva Loca, the planet on Diva Loca, when she gets interrupted by the Mara. So yeah, and then obviously again in Snake Dance as well. So it's a nice thing to say, like, that's come into play a lot with the Fifth Doctor. I mean, he's not really one for catchphrases, as we know, but, you know, it's a nice thing to say to keep Tegan's spirits up, which I just think is nice. If I remember that episode, guys, I will literally link it down. I will literally put it in the description. I need to find it first and know what it is. Actually, what was it? I know every episode, it's just that this particular one I've forgotten. I can't remember. I'll link it in the description. The Sixth Doctor said, I wonder. And there we have the Sixth Doctor in a nutshell. Curious, engaged, and keen to show off his superior knowledge to anyone who would listen. And I'm only including this because the catchphrase of anyone who ever laid eyes on his own, ow, my poor injured fashion sense, was only ever said internally. Yeah, I don't really think I need to explain that one anymore. That description there kind of gives it enough explanation as it is. The Seventh Doctor said, somewhere there's danger, somewhere there's injustice, somewhere else the tea is getting cold. The Seventh Doctor would routinely answer any query as to his health with the beneficial back to claim to be fine, which most consult as a catchphrase, were it not what most British people do at all times, even when dying. Of course, interesting, although only said once. Is this hardly mission statement, high drama, inflamed passions, and everyday nonsense, all rolled into one? How very Doctarian. That's what, I swear to God, guys, that is literally the word at the bottom of the article. That is literally the word at that. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, that's what the Seventh Doctor said. I mean, it's his common. We only said it like one time, but it's still his catchphrase. And you know, I am doing catchphrases of the Doctor, so I'm having to include ones that maybe the Doctor's only said a couple of times, or maybe even once. Anyway, pause for the Eighth Doctor, who barely has time to say anything, much less develop a catchphrase. Pause ends. Ninth Doctor said fantastic. Never far from the lips of the hardest bitten Doctor, the one who carried the traumas of his recent past on his face and tried really hard to. Although, if you had to pick one single line which defines the Ninth Doctor, surely brand of positivity, it would be to protest at Rose impersonal questions as to how he's a spaceman. If he talks like he's from the north of England, lots of planets have a north. See that? Not all planets, just lots of them. They speak the voice of experience. So yeah, the Ninth Doctor had fantastic. He said it like all the time in his entire season. He like Christopher Eccleston only did one season. I would have liked to see him do more, but he did one season because he just did. So yeah, he said fantastic an awful lot, and it just kind of defines the Ninth Doctor as he is. The 10th Doctor, he had two catchphrases. I'm going to tell you the first one and then I'm going to tell you the second one, but I'm going to explain the second one because it doesn't explain the second one here. 10th Doctor said, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Look, I wanted Alonzi as much as everybody else, and it would have been definitely one if this wasn't just about the memorable faces that stick in the mind. But there's something about the way the 10th Doctor delivers his trademark bad line. Every time it was freshly minted, as if it was the first time he had said it. And every time you realise that he must have said it hundreds upon hundreds of times before, Well, technically, yes, he did say that. He did say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry 100 times before, but I know that's a catchphrase he says, but he also says the other one, allons-y, which he kind of develops in when he's with Rose and stuff, at the end of his first season. So yeah, he does say allons-y a fair bit as well. I think it's French for let's go. So instead of saying let's go, he says allons-y because it's better. And it also comes into play with the Dalek episode in series 3, you know, with Martha in that, with Martha, Frank and Tallulah in that. It comes into play. He says, is there another lift? And then Martha obviously says service lift, and he's like, allons-y. Like, it's French for let's go, and it's easier for him to say that because rather than saying let's go, because obviously saying let's go is a bit more time consuming, so he just says the French variant of let's go, allons-y, because it's easier for him, and also it's probably one of the Doctor's most memorable moments, and also catchphrases that he's come up with. He used allons-y a fair bit, and then my favourite part was that Christmas special at the end of series 3 when he met someone called Alonso and said, he always wanted to say allons-y Alonso, which I just think is amazing, and I feel like the allons-y catchphrase, better than the I'm sorry, I'm so sorry one, is probably better because it defines the 10th Doctor of who he is and how the catchphrases worked in his lifetime. Anyway, moving on. The 11th Doctor also had 2 catchphrases. The 11th Doctor had 2 catchphrases as well. Bow ties are cool. Always delivered with a certain wounded pride, usually to a skeptic audience of either River or Amy. It was occasionally stretched to include fezzes, but basically this is the catchphrase of a man who knows his own mind but worries slightly that he's out of step with everybody else. Then decided that's the way things ought to be after all. A moment of characteristic, pretending doubts from one of the most rock solid Doctors. Yeah, I definitely remember him saying that a fair bit. He said it in his very first episode when Amy asked even the bow tie, and he's like, bow ties are cool and stuff like that. And I feel like that defines Matt Smith's Doctor for who he is. He also said Geronimo a fair bit as well, because like Amy also said it as well in her 3rd season when they were on Skaro, the planet of the Daleks. So yeah, I thought Geronimo was also quite a memorable catchphrase that the 11th Doctor said. It was a way of, I don't actually know what Geronimo means. I believe it means let's go or whoopee or whatever. But yeah, Geronimo was another catchphrase the Doctor kind of came up with. He said it a lot as well as bow ties are cool. He said bow ties are cool a lot less than Geronimo. He said Geronimo more than bow ties are cool, but same premise. But yeah, he said when they did that creature, when they were inside the mouth of that creature, he said, Geronimo, this isn't going to be big, straightens his bow tie, this isn't going to be big on dignity. Geronimo! So yeah, he does say that a fair bit as well. So yeah. Also, if you guys notice that 10th and 5 also have the same personalities. I'll move on to that. So the 12th Doctor said shut up a fair bit. Not really much of a catchphrase, but I thought I would include it on the list because I am doing every Doctor to catchphrase. So he said shut up Clara, and then when he had a new companion, Bill and Nardole, he said shut up Nardole or shut up Bill. So the 12th Doctor's catchphrase, I don't really think I need to explain that. That just defines the 12th Doctor of who he is. And yeah, that face he had was basically when the 10th Doctor saved him. So yeah. And the final Doctor, the 13th Doctor, I don't know whether it's all up to date, is the 13th Doctor had 2 catchphrases. Her most common one was let's get a shift on. She said that a lot through her first season, as you know. And then she also said brilliant as well, which is another common 13th Doctor catchphrase. So yeah, like the 13th Doctor said brilliant and let's get a shift on a fair bit. She said brilliant more than let's get a shift on, but you know, so only 3 Doctors have had 2 types of catchphrases, 10, 11 and 13. Like the rest of the Doctors have had one catchphrase that they've kind of stuck to. Like the 5th Doctor had Braveheart Tegan, he stuck to that catchphrase, he didn't have another one, that was it. But yeah. I'm actually going to find out what that Diva Loca episode was called because I really want to know, and I'll be really annoyed if I end this video without you guys knowing what it is. Because I'm going to be really annoyed if I don't. Kinder. That's it. That was the episode. Of course it was. Kinder. Yeah, Kinder. Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot that. Kinder. Like Kinder chocolate, but spelled differently. I can't believe I forgot that. The first story featured Damara is a fantastic one. It is not exactly the best, but it is though. Like Kinder. How the hell could I bloody forget that? And then obviously a season later you have that followed up by obviously, you know, you've got that followed up by Snake Dance. You've got the Kinder episode a season later. You've got the Mara back a season later in episode 5. Yeah, it's 5. You've got the Mara back a season later for Snake Dance, which I just think is amazing because Tegan has that dream. The Doctor's like, the Doctor tries to figure out what the bloody hell is going on with Tegan right now. Like, what the bloody hell is going on. I also came up with this stupid weird theory just before I end this video, before you guys go shouting at me in the comments, before you guys put in the comments what this theory you came up with. You know how Tegan says in the Arc of Infinity that she's lost her job as an air stewardess? Well, I think I know why. I mean, this is just a theory. You guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong. But I think that she didn't know at the time that she was still possessed by the Mara. So maybe when she was possessed by the Mara, when she shouted at Passenger, the Mara was taking hold in her mind, but she didn't realise, or she might have, or here's theory number 2, she might have deliberately got herself fired so she could see the Doctor again. I'm not sure, but I think my first theory kind of sounds correct. Tegan's not really an angry person. Like, she doesn't really get angry that easily. Well, I mean, she kind of does, but not that much. I will go through the 5th Doctor episodes next time. The 5th Doctor episodes next time if you guys want me to. But yeah, Tegan doesn't really get that angry, I guess. So, you know, for her to get angry and shout at a customer to get fired, shout at a passenger to get fired is not exactly probably the best. So I reckon that was the Mara in her mind taking hold when she was awake. Like the doctors say, when she's awake, her mind is strong enough to resist, but sometimes it can't, so I don't know. But you guys can correct me anyway. Anyway, I'm going to end the video here because I rambled for 3 minutes at the beginning and rambled for 3 minutes at the end, and quite frankly, I don't want to do that. So yeah, make sure you click down. Make sure you click down below to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, subscribe down below. Click the big red subscribe button down below, and click the notification bell to get notifications every single time I upload. Because I would like to have so many new Doctor Who geeks on here as well. And yeah, so make sure you answer. Feel free to drop your answer to my question in the comments, and also correct me with my theory about Tegan getting fired. Like, some of you are going to think she got fired deliberately. I don't think that was the case. I think the Mara in her mind took hold, but she didn't realise it, and then obviously with the Doctor and that. But Nissa missed her, I guess, which was really sweet. Anyway, make sure you subscribe down below and click the notification bell every time I upload. I will see you guys next week for another video. Alonzi.